You know, sometimes we get so caught up in what ifs, in the negative, but what if it happens and it succeeds?
Right.
Normally isn't one of the what ifs that we have, you
Right.
know? So, what if it works?
Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Resilient Life with Rosie. I have a special guest here. Her name is Rebecca. She has her own business. She's single and fabulous. She loves the Lord, and she's here to share her journey with us. Everyone, say hi to Rebecca. Rebecca, say hi to everybody.
What's up, good people? Hey, y'all, hey. Hey, y'all, hey. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Rebecca comes from Pennsylvania and she now lives in Georgia. We'll get into that shortly. But first, what made you want to get out of your 9 to 5 to branch out to your current business?
Good question. I think there was always a pin in my mind. Like, you know, you put a pin in something. There was always a pin that I wanted to own. I wanted to be to produce content to develop other people, and I was like, I don't want to be a I want somebody else to tell me what to do. Like, I want to be able to be in a position, not necessarily to tell other people what to do, but to create a space for others people's dreams to come true. And I can't do that if I'm the staff member all the time. So that was the pin I would always keep in my mind, that I want to own something, I want to start something, I want to develop something in the earth.
When you had that thought, when did the thought go into you actually moving in it?
Okay, it was a lot of years. Okay, a lot of years. I've had this thought since I was like young, like single digits, and my parents were always like, "You can do it. Like you can have your own thing. I want to dance. I want to do this. I want to do that." So I've had the thought of like open up in a school of arts, middle school, high school. I think after I graduated, again, I would always have this idea. I would even go and teach different places, but it wouldn't be like my business. I would just go help. But when it transitioned I was like, you know, I'm gonna stop writing this on my vision board, and I'm gonna take a step. Right? I got like pushed out. That was around 2019. I went to this conference and I got a beautiful word, like an encouraging word that like you need to come to the front. I'm a fan of being in the back. I'm just gonna toss that out there. I'm a big fan of being in the back. I'm a very extroverted personality, but I'm very much an introvert. So I will go do what I have to do and come right back to the back and giggle with other people. So that transition for me was like, all right, take one step. Take one step. And the first step was
Any personal challenge that therapy could help with? Therapy can provide tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp.com/theresilientlife. If you are struggling, consider online therapy with our sponsor, BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/theresilientlife. Also, it gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Again, click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/theresilientlife. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel. Now back to our episode.
writing out the office, our church office that we were using, just saving the time that you'll teach classes this time. I'm just gonna put the space in. That's all I'm gonna do. All right. What else are you gonna do? I was helping out at the summer camp at my school that I was working at, and I was cool with the art teacher. And I was like, "Hey, I have this idea. Can you come help me come up with like a logo so I can create some posters?" So I went afterwards, and we sat in the art room at the school, and she did her thing. And I was like, "This is the acronym. You know, it's GRACE. You know, great resilience activates character and excellence." And she came up with some different ideas, and she was like, "If you come help me do it, we'll do it for free." And I was like, "Okay, we'll do it." So when I was painting and doing all these other things, and now I have posters for my class. I'm like, oh snap. And I was like, okay, now I need a flyer. So
join our email list on www.roadtoresilient.com. All the information is in the link in bio.
Auntie, she's really good at this type of stuff. So I went over to my auntie's house. I asked her for help and she supported me. I sat with her. She helped me develop my first flyer. And I was like, I did. All right, God. What's next? You have to post it. Wait a second. That was the big, first big, all this stuff is under, no one knows I'm doing this stuff, you know? But now I have to post it and, share with people. Whoo, fear. What if nobody comes? What if they say you can't do it? And I am learning now that it doesn't matter if they do or if they don't. The vision is what God gave me, not what God gave them, you know? So standing in the fact that even if no one shows up, I'm showing up.
Right.
So I posted it and I got 2 students and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was my 2 little cousins, right? And I was like, this is great. I taught the classes. My auntie who helped me with the flyer, they're her granddaughters, my little cousins. So they came, she would take pictures for me. She helped me with my first program for my first presentation. And so that was 2019. And so I taught a session for a year. Pandemic hit. So I taught on virtually for a little bit for another year till 2021 in the midst of this. So I'm pushing, I'm moving forward. I'm like, all right, God, I'm going to do it. I'm investing in myself. I got a new laptop. I got you know what I mean? Things. And I remember talking in the midst of that, I got some wonderful team members, which I'm like, God, thank you. Just people who are like, I believe in what you want to do. I believe in your skill set and I believe in your vision. Let me help. You know, people ask for you to help. But you don't, I'm like, are you serious? Or are you just talking? Because both can happen to you.
Right.
Right? And I'm like, I wonder if they're serious. And I've kind of stepped out on it. Do you really want to help? And 2 of them really wanted to help. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I got a graphic designer who wants to help me, who's a friend. And now I have a social media manager who has the skill set. Because I don't do social media that well. I just don't. I prefer not. And so that transition happened in the midst of this. And then 2021.
Know of any singles who are tired of cuff season and ready for a satisfying single season? Go to Linktree/The Resilient Life. Link is in the bio for more information of our upcoming course for single and satisfied, starting October 2023.
I was praying and I was walking. This was not on my mind at all. I was preparing for my next round of classes. And I felt like God told me, take a hiatus. And I'm like, hold up. A hiatus? God, we just got started. I just got the nerve to really do this thing. You know what I mean? I just started going on a roll and I believe in myself. Jesus, we can do it. And he was like, take a hiatus. I was like, bruh, am I quitting? Do you want me to hate all? You know, all the emotions. I was like, oh my God, that's it. So it was only for 2 years? Okay. So I'm crying. I had this whole moment and I was like, but I want to be obedient to what you're telling me, God. So I went on a hiatus, and in the midst of the hiatus, God was confirming to me that he wanted me to move from Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area, down here to Georgia. Now, in the midst of this journey, I came to Georgia summer of 2020 in the middle of a pandemic. Because again, that 2019 year was a very pivotal year for me. And I came down for my cousin's 40th birthday party. I remember, all white. We was in here getting it, okay? Having a good time. And in the midst of that, my auntie and my dad had a conversation with me about the gift that they saw in my life. And they really spoken to me and they said, your gift is bigger than Norristown. Your gift is bigger than where you're at. So my auntie presented me with the opportunity just to come down and try, you know. So I came down summer of 2020 now. I said yes before the pandemic happened, right? And then the pandemic happened. I was like, God, clearly you don't want me to go anywhere because it's a pandemic.
Right.
And he was like, you already said yes. And I said, oh, you right? Touche, God. All right, well, I'm just going to call my auntie, see if she's comfortable. Because if she's not comfortable, then I can't go nowhere. I called her. She said, yeah, sure, come on down. I said, oh my gosh. You really want me to do this, God? I didn't know it was a long set. I didn't know it was a setup, but it was. So I came down the first summer, taught some classes through my auntie's church, masked up, spacing, all that stuff, but I taught. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I think I can do this. So then the next summer, I was like, okay, summer's in Georgia. We can do this. The next summer I came down and I was like, and I taught within our community. And I remember this one time, nobody showed up to classes, which is fine. And I put 3 chairs out. I was like, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, I'm still teaching this class. Okay? All right, everyone, welcome to Grace Rose Studios. And you stretch to your right, taught a full class. And then I left because I'm going to show up whether nobody else. And then in that midst of that summer of 2020 to about that fall before God told me to shut it down, I was like, I feel like I should move, but I would like put it to the side. Like, I don't know. I'm good. Maybe this is just me. I think I'm bugging. No, am I bugging? I'm bugging. I'm not going nowhere. And he told me to sit it down. And then after I said, okay, we're going on hiatus, we shut down our social media, wrapped it all up. He began confirming again and again. And I was like, okay. So that was my transition. And I got down here August of 2022. I didn't teach a class. And I got down here. And maybe a couple weeks later, one of my friends from back home who I had just gotten reconnected with, it was like, hey, got this opportunity to teach dance classes. Wanted to talk to you about it because I know you've been doing it. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Got on the phone. I said, do you have an idea that you want to develop? Because I'm here for you. I'll support you. I'll help you develop your idea. She said, no, I don't really have my own idea. And I was like, well, here's another option. I said, I have Grace Rose Studios, and I already have the structure and the system for the program. So you can always come underneath the umbrella of Grace Rose Studios. So if you have a plan, I'm going to help you. If you want to come under Grace Rose Studios, I'm going to help you. You pray about it. You let me know what you want to do. And I think the next week she called me. She was like, I'm going to be a part of Grace Rose Studios. And I said, oh my gosh. Really? She said, yeah. So now I have a studio lead back in PA, which is amazing, in the Norristown area. And Miss Brittany, shout out to her. I had to get out her way, and I didn't even know. But God knows the big master plan. But I didn't know at the time that me trusting and saying yes to you, Lord, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I say yes to you, was already creating a space for the business that he's given me to continue on.
Right.
Right? So that blew my mind. So now we have classes going on back in the Norristown area, and we actually just started our another season. But that's how my journey kind of started. So it's been in me for years, but to actually take that leap to just try, you know? Sometimes we get so caught up in what ifs, in the negative, but what if it happens and it succeeds?
Right.
It normally isn't one of the what ifs that we have,
right.
You know? So what if it works?
Right. And to go back, you were saying like you had some fear. What did the fear look like?
The fear looked like, if I take this step and it doesn't work, am I failing God? Will I mess up his whole plan?
Right.
If I mess up. If this doesn't work, I feel like I'm jacking up myself and other people. And I would never want to mess up other people. I mean, sometimes you mess yourself up, but to affect other people, that really hurts, you know?
Right.
And so that was a big thing. I also struggled for a lot of years with, like, do people see me? Do people hear me? Do people value me? Is what I have good, quote unquote, good enough? But I spent a lot of time, a lot of years just affirming myself with the word of God that, you know, I am the apple of his eye. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm loved. I'm a joint heir with Jesus. He my big brother. You know what I mean? I'm adopted. I'm accepted. You know, my identity doesn't come from other people. My identity comes from Christ, and really always having that to fall back on. Like, Jesus, you're my anchor.
Right.
What you say about me. So whether I fail or not, you are big enough and wide enough to find me and put me back on track.
Awesome.
You know? So I guess that's in the midst of that was the fear. And sometimes still is. When something new comes, I'm like, am I ready for this guy? You still know where I'm at, right? You see me? Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to do it.
Remember, like, comment, and be kind and share. And with your support system, your aunt and your dad, how pivotal was that for you to have them?
The support of my family is everything, because I'm not out here by myself, one, and they believe in me, and that means everything. You know what I mean? Just having someone to be like, no, I believe you can do this. And even the way that I transitioned down there, they gave me a launching party.
Nice.
Like I did like a little kind of production before we left, and after the production we did, it was like a nice gathering with like close friends and family, and they all said they spoke life over me, they prayed for me, and they launched me, and then I moved like a week or two later.
That's dope.
So they created a space for me to really reach out and to kind of move forward, and those are like, I still have video clips that I have to go back, because it's hard. It's not easy transitioning and trying, and it's like Abraham, go to a place that I will show you. You know what I mean? You told me Georgia, but then what, God? Like, you know, that's faith. That's what that looks like. That's stepping out on the water, and you might not know, but you have to trust in the God who's that he's meeting you there, and he's walking with you in the journey, you know?
Right.
And I mean, this last year and a half has been the most emotional year of my life, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I'm a crier. If I feel something, if I'm happy, I'm gonna cry. If I'm sad, I'm gonna cry. If I'm angry, I'm gonna cry. Like your girl cries, okay? But I think I've been here a year and a month, and this last year and a month, whoo, talk about it's like this deep well I didn't know I had of just weeping and tears. Um, but it has been one of the most beautiful journeys I've had in my life. I said, God, I will not give back a day. Like, and I don't want to rush this process at all. I'm just going to feel my feelings. Okay, I'm nervous about this. What's underneath your nervousness? Oh, okay, it's something new. You're just uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. And I had to, God had to like rework how I looked at being uncomfortable. Because when I was younger, when I was uncomfortable, that meant that somebody was about to abuse me or treat me, mistreat me. But God was showing me, even in this last year, that being uncomfortable in Him is the safest place that I can be. I don't know what's coming, but I'm safe because I'm in Him.
Right.
You know?
Because there's like this, everyone is saying it now about being comfortable is being stagnant and you being complacent, and then uncomfortable is where you get change.
Mm-hmm.
And many people don't like uncomfortable because it is legit uncomfortable.
Come on.
Okay. Let me just say that.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's so much that grows in uncomfortable versus staying in comfortable, because you're not going to go anywhere.
You're going to stay the same.
Right. Mm-hmm. So with uncomfortable, with someone listening right now who's like, okay, Rebecca, I'm hearing you, go team. However, this whole uncomfortable, it hurts. Yeah. I'm not feeling it. Mm-hmm. What would you encourage them with?
So the flash that just came to my mind is of a butterfly. I love butterflies because they go through changes, right? They go through seasons. And the fact of the matter is, if you choose to stay where you are, you're making the choice to stay there in that season. That's your change. Either way, you have to, I heard this saying, you have to choose your heart. So either you're choosing for everything to stay the same, and that's hard, and that's painful. Or you're choosing for yourself to stretch, to grow in the pain of becoming of who you can be. That's hard and that's painful, you know? So I think about the butterfly, how it goes through metamorphosis. You know, you start in the egg, you're being born, and then you turn into the caterpillar and you're just eating everything up. You're eating the knowledge of what's around you. You're eating, you know, maybe on the word of God, and maybe you digging on your dream, you're eating. And then there's that chrysalis period where there's stillness and quiet, but so much is happening inside of the chrysalis season. That's where I feel like I am right now. I'm in the chrysalis season. And that for me, there's you on the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. On the outside, you're just wrapped up and you feel like no one sees what I'm actually going through, but it's all internal. You're being changed and you're being transformed and you're being molded and you're being stretched. And eventually the chrysalis season is over. But you have to be willing to stay still enough to let the process happen. That's scary.
That's good.
Because you don't know when God's going to start opening you up for your butterfly season. And you don't know how long your butterfly season is. Right. Because there's always another challenge and there's always another storm. That's a part of life. Because life be out here lifing. That's just the reality of it, right?
Right.
We are promised trials and tribulations. You don't got to pray for them. You don't have to ask for them. They're coming because that's life.
Right.
But the process of the chrysalis will purge the things that needed to be purged from you. God talks about pruning. You know, if you want to grow, you're going to have to get cut on to grow, right? And if you need to get rid of some stuff, it still takes cutting.
Right.
That's what happens in that chrysalis season. When you're protected, so no one on the outside can see what's going on internally, it's just you and God. Going and walking through this process like, ouch, it hurts. I have this prayer, God, I refuse to get off this surgery table. I will cry. I might scream. But I am not moving until everything that you need worked out of me is gone and worked in me is here.
Dope.
I'm going to stay on the surgery table. Yes, there have been multiple tears. I need to reiterate that these tears are real. I'm the big ugly cries and just the little cries, you know?
Yes.
But it's a part of the process. And so when my butterfly season happens, I'll be ready for it. I'll be stronger for it. And even that transition from opening of the chrysalis, you can't help the butterfly out of its chrysalis or it will die because it will not gain strength in its wings. You need to go through adversity. That's a Pastor Mike said this the other day. He said that adversity for the soul is like working out for the body. It builds you, it strengthens you, it develops something in you that hearing it from somebody else can't do. You have to be able to walk through life and know who you're anchored in and be willing to take the pain of growth because there's beauty in pain. There is a joy attached to your weeping. There is a joy that's attached to your pain. But are you willing to sow in tears so you can reap in joy?
Right.
You know?
Right. Remember to subscribe on Apple and Spotify podcasts. If you are listening through YouTube, and like and comment and click the notification bell so you could be notified for upcoming episodes. And remember, Tea Time, True Time on Saturdays. That's so good, Rebecca. Hope you guys are getting encouraged by this lady. She gives the biggest, tightest hugs. You're missing them. Oh, well. Where can they find your academy and all your socials?
Okay, so the School of Arts is called Grace Rose Studios, and I said this before, but GRACE is the acronym for Grit and Resilience, Activates Character and Excellence. Right now, we are out of Norristown, Pennsylvania. You can go to We Are Grace Rose on Instagram, and that has all our information about what's going on. You can go to our link tree. It has our registration. We're actually registering for classes right now, so sign up. We start ages about 5 and up, and then in our winter and spring sessions, we're going to be offering one of our ballet class to adults. So come one, come all. Come bust a groove with us. And yeah, classes are about 8 weeks. We'll do 3 sessions a year. We hope you join us. Yay.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for your time. Everyone, remember, stay resilient.